Hey, what's going on everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Dayton Triangles here on Madden 25, featuring 31 other team builder squads to create a full-on revamped UFL Spring League. We find ourselves here in year number 3, and this has been a disproportionately terrible start in comparison to what we have experienced in the first couple of seasons. We are 1-5 as a team, and ever since we went 5-1 to start the year back in year number 2, we just have failed to find our groove, and it's been taking a toll on our team, and it makes us beg the overall question: do we embrace maybe a full-on rebuild, or depending on how things go the next couple of games, because they are within our division, we will take on both Evansville and Columbus in this episode. Do we still have what it takes to maybe compete for a division title, or maybe even compete for a full-on roster spot at the very least, right? So, a lot to figure out here, especially in this bye week. We're gonna play a couple of games as well. So I hope you join me here in this episode, and I hope you been enjoying the series in general, which, if you guys have been doing that, I need you guys to go do a couple of things for me. Hit that like button, as that's going to get this out to people that enjoy the Madden gameplay like you guys are right now. And then secondarily, if you're just loving the vibes here on the channel, man, make sure you go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and with that, let's go ahead and jump right into it. But before we get too deep into the intro, though, we have a few press conferences as well as some meetings that we want to take care of so that we can get ourselves as prepared as possible for our upcoming plays that we have. And they're talking about how successful our playing calling is, which I'm not excited about this part because, you guys saw our record. We just came up. If y'all haven't seen the last episode, man, we just lost to the Orlando Guardians, bro. Like, they were 0-5. So, good team, hold them below the 200 yards. We know we're giving up more than 200 passing yards. Like, we know that we're higher than that. You trying to raw dog us, so that's crazy. But I guess at the very least, they know how aware we are of the analytics. So I guess we get a morale boost for at least being honest, I guess. Which, I don't know how that's a morale boost, but man, we'll do its thing. The fans are curious about what we're doing with the upcoming trade deadline, though, and this context here. So this is not a normal Madden franchise. I did disable trades because trades actually do not happen within the UFL. So we're not going to do anything at the trade deadline, not because I don't want to necessarily, but because I want to keep it a little bit more realistic to actual UFL football. There is no trades, and that also means we can't get extra draft picks or use draft picks to get players, right? So with that being said, next matchup that we have going on, we are taking a look at what we're doing in terms of our opponent, and it seems like they're actually a team that struggles with pass blocking, which is helpful because usually if we hold an offense down, it's because we are getting a pretty consistent pass rush. And so with that being said, this does set us up pretty well. And maybe it's just one of those things where, hey, maybe we're sending somebody on a blitz, or instead of allowing a center to help on a double team, that they have to take on somebody themselves, something like that. So if we can force their center to give up a couple of sacks, I think that will work very well within our favor. But before we get into the first game of this episode, we do need to jump into what we have going on in terms of what we have planned with upgrades that we have, mostly on the defensive side of the ball, which is where we definitely, I feel still need it a little bit more. JJ Peters is one of those players, man, and I know that JJ Peters, we like him in pass coverage, we like him in his ability to stop the run and make us a little bit more of a well-balanced defense. At least try to make teams a little bit more one-dimensional, but I want to work on his rushing abilities because he is lacking a little bit in terms of pass rushing. He does not move in overall, unfortunately, but he does get at least a +2 to finesse moves, as well as +1 in a couple of other areas. We do have 4 other players, one of which is actually someone that is on the offensive side of the ball, And on the offensive side of the ball, we are going to give this upgrade to Terrell Sharpen, and he jumps up to a 78 overall. Even though he does have the quad strain, he does at least get a +2 to break tackling, which means we might have a little bit of a running back by committee for this game against Columbus. Something to definitely watch out for. Few more upgrades that we have is Tyler Pointer, though, and Tyler Pointer, we are trying to get him up to a solid level, as Tyler Pointer at this point, he gets up to a 74 overall, so he is starting to mold into a decent starter. We are developing him okay, but the problem is he's already 30 years old, so this might be as good as it gets, unfortunately. As for Daryl Upshaw, one of our backups on the squad, we are going to work on his zone coverage, because we do like to play a lot of zone on our team. And Daryl Upshaw does jump up to a 73 overall, and in particular gets +2s in play recognition, pursuit of the tackler, the ball carrier, and just pure tackling abilities as well. And then the final upgrade that we have is to Trey Dawson. Now, Trey Dawson is a younger player on our team. He's just a third-year player out of Washington, and we are going to work on his power rushing. And he actually jumps 2 overalls after we give him that particular power rushing upgrade. He gets a +2 to awareness, which is extremely helpful, as well as some other attribute increases, nearly taking him up to that 70 overall range. But with that being said, the biggest thing that I want more than anything is not only do I want to win, but this is a divisional game, so I definitely want to get a win within our division. That's going to help us out tremendously. I think we're 1-2 in divisional action so far, as we actually are starting off pretty okay here late in the first quarter. We are still tied up at 0 apiece, but we do have a chance to take the lead here late in the first quarter, as Andrew Collar is going to go ahead. He's going to take the snap, and he's going to actually run upfield. Running into the end zone is a touchdown for your Dayton Triangles. Was looking for Grayson Heineck if he went to like the left-hand side, like on a slant instead of going outward. But hey, a touchdown is a touchdown. We are officially on the board. We even have a chance to extend this lead as well. 7-3 is your score here, as we're going to roll out here to the right-hand side. And Will Hunter actually does a pretty good job here of doing that boxing out thing, as Will Hunter will go ahead, pick up that first down. But another third down opportunity here, though. We picked up 1 third down. Let's see if we can pick up another one, as Will Hunter tries to drive his legs forward, but he's going to be marked just short of the sticks. So 4th and inches inside the 15-yard line. And you know what? We're absolutely feeling spicy. We're going forward here on 4th and inches, as we're going to hand it off to Joe Spears, who finds more than enough in order to move the sticks for the first down. And you know, it just feels like kind of like destiny, I guess, like for us to like the score on this drive. Maybe this is the throw to do it, but Stanley Bryant can't haul it in, bro. Oh my goodness, he's looking for the pass interference flag, but he's definitely not going to get that. He just needs to hang on to that straight up and down. Now, with that being said, it wasn't all lost there on that dropped pass, as we were at least able to go ahead and get a field goal. But what is Jared Strong doing? Like, I have no idea why he tried to like dive to get that pass broken up. You had to stop. Just go for the tackle, big fella. Like that, you had one job. And instead, we can't do that job. The drive's going to continue for Evansville, as they have a chance to tie it, but they'll also shoot themselves in the foot a little bit. John Johnson, who's the weak link on this offensive line, he gives up a holding penalty. So now 2nd and 20, and that is just a pure coverage sack right there. Nowhere to go with the ball. We held him contained in the pocket. And we're going to be able to keep him in the pocket for a 5-yard loss, which makes this 3rd and 25. So now we try to make sure that we get him off the field in this 3rd and 25. And, well, they will pick up some yards, but Jared Strong will make the tackle, and Evansville is going to be forced to take the field goal. So that takes us through the first half. And listen, we still have a 4-point lead through halftime. But let's see if we can possibly pull away here in the second half of action, as we will pick up a first down with our star tight end, Grayson Heidick. Wasn't sure if he was going to play today because he did suffer a high ankle sprain in the Columbus matchup, but he is here and he is playing well, at least decently well. But now we got a 2nd and 10 coming up here, though, as we're going to try to move the sticks with this running game. And while we don't fully succeed in that objective, we do at least make this a much more manageable 3rd and 5. As now Collar lines up in the shotgun, free wide set, as Collar going to jump it off over the middle and finds Joe Spears. Just picks up an easy first down there, just checking it down and just making his good keys and all that good stuff. So drive will continue as we have a chance to take our biggest lead of the game yet, and we will with Joe Spears untouched on his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Dayton! And the Triangles are going to be able to put up another one up on that scoreboard. As a matter of fact, we also get a field goal off screen as well. So we have a 20-6 lead here in the final few minutes of this ball game, as we have a chance to seal the deal once and for all, as we'll run it with Joe Spears up the gut, and that's a first down for the Dayton Triangles. And Joe Spears, who's stepping up for our injured tailback that was usually starts for us. His name escapes me for some reason. I don't know why. But with that being said, though, Joe Spears is actually doing a pretty good job. You know, want to give him kudos for that for sure, as we now have crossed the 2-minute warning. Evansville starts to take its time out. But with that being said, last play of the game, you know, we're just going to go ahead. We're going to do a little bit of rubbing it in on our division opponents, expand this lead, do a little bit of stat padding, as we'll get things started here with a really nice win on the road. Defense plays absolutely lights out, and then offensively, listen, we did just enough to win and then some, able to get our 2nd win of the year. Now, I did think that my offense played generally alright. We could have executed better in the red zone, but that's a different conversation. We did, however, hold Evansville to less than 200 yards of offense on the day. And not to mention, we were able to force free turnovers off screen as well, outside the moments that we did actually play. So an excellent performance really by both sides of the ball, and it feels good to be back in the win column, because we already know we was definitely down horrendous today. And we took really good care of the football, as Andrew Collar, while he wasn't his best today, he was 18 for 28 for 186 yards. He didn't have any touchdown passes, which I know can be quite frustrating, knowing that we did have 2 potential touchdowns dropped in the end zone. You know, we gotta have Will Hunter and Stanley Bryant hold on to those. Andrew Collar did a good job taking care of the ball, and that was the most important thing. Running the ball, however, I was truly impressed with how Joe Spears stepped up in this game, as Joe Spears ended up with 26 carries and 104 yards with a touchdown on the ground. Andrew Collar was also able to find the end zone as well. He was able to find a way to get it done with his legs. Now, as for the receivers, DeAndre Bazier actually had a nice day today. He had 6 catches for 92 yards, as the 2nd-year player out of Wake Forest really shined in this one. However, because we didn't throw for too many yards, nobody else really stood out today, but a few different people did end up touching the football. But defensively, I was really proud of how we were able to hold it down, even though we didn't have like a ton of plays where we physically had to tackle somebody, right? So Denorio Allen and Jared Strong with our leading tacklers, but they only had 4 tackles apiece. I mean, they weren't really having to do truly much today, which gives us an interesting story in terms of, hey, we kept Columbus off the field, which I'm happy to do. Peter Townsend and JJ Peters were also able to get free tackles today. We did also manage to get 2 sacks. Daryl McLeod was able to get 1 of the sacks, and then Matt Leader, another defensive tackle, was also able to get a sack, which was cool to see. And then those free interceptions both come from Peter Townsend and the rookie 1st-round pick and JJ Peters. Great day defensively. Really not much to say here. Let's just hope that we can keep this up for our next game that we're going to play later on here in the episode. So right after the game, though, we do end up getting some of the upgrades that we're looking for all on that defensive side of the ball, and easy to see why. I mean, defense played phenomenally today, giving up just 6 points like I mentioned earlier. So we start with our superstar corner, Peter Townsend. He's currently the best player on our team from an overall standpoint. But again, you know, he's not the best at zone coverage. He's only an 85. He is going to remain at his 88 overall because he only gets the +3 to zone coverage. But Peter Townsend played pretty well in this game and is helping shape this defensive backfield. Speaking of our DBs, another one of our corners do end up getting an upgrade, and that's Ty Moody, who we did end up bringing in through free agency, and we're fortunate to bring in Ty Moody. I mean, this is a guy that is only 25 years old, a good football player for sure. We're going to work on his slot corner abilities, and he jumps up to a 79 overall. He is now going to have a +2 to tackling, among other things, so Ty Moody is actually also developing quite nicely. And then Von Red, who we brought in as one of our younger players on this team, and he's a second-year player out of Michigan State. We're going to work on his run stopping like this time around, and he does not move in terms of overalls, but he does at least get a +3 to block shed. Von Red, however, will stay at that 70 overall. But then we went ahead and advanced a week, and we saw that another one of our defensive players got an upgrade opportunity. It's Jordan Baptiste. Now, Jordan Baptiste was someone that we brought in through free agency this past offseason for the express purpose to be a better backup just in case Will Hitchens ended up getting hurt. He's playing decent football for us, to be honest with you, so we're going to work on his pass coverage here, and that does actually make him a scheme fit. I don't think that was the case before. Even though he doesn't improve his overall, he does get some +1s across the board, and it does help him with getting a little bit more of a scheme fit as he does get the, I guess, an upgrade in field general as well, which is really interesting to me. So since we did go ahead and move on to the next week, we are going to go ahead and start preparing for our next matchup that we do happen to have, and that is going to be the Columbus Destroyers. Now, we lost to Columbus in a thriller the last time that we played these guys, actually dating back to the last episode, but this time Columbus does have to come into our building, right? So big opportunity for us to get a win at Welcome Stadium. And just talking about the strategy for this upcoming game, and Terrell Sharpton feels like there is a weakness that he can exploit, as seems like the right side of their defensive line isn't the best out there. So with that being said, it's going to be big for us if we can run it over to the right hand side and do it effectively. I think that will do pretty well. We're not a big running team, but if we can get him a couple yards, or not a couple yards, but a couple of touchdowns in the red zone, I think that's going to be very helpful for us to possibly pull that upset off against the Columbus Destroyers, who have been playing very well since the last time that we've seen them. However, a side quest that I do want to get taken care of as well is that DeAndre Bozier has been playing some pretty good football. He put up nearly 100 yards in the last game, and DeAndre Bozier is actually going to get a dev trait challenge. If we can get him to 100 yards, then we will get him upgraded to that star development trait. So a big game here for both DeAndre Bozier and really just the overarching team in general, as Columbus has been on fire. They are now on a 3-game winning streak, one of those games being from us, actually. And the way that they got things started here in these first quarter and a half of this ball game, they looked like they were on the verge of making it a 4-game winning streak. But hold up now, we have some life on defense. Now, Hitchens probably would have been better off just taking the knee there, but he might have thought that he went backwards to get the interception, so wanted to avoid the safety. But with that being said, in spite of that, we are putting together a solid drive, and we're going to throw this ball over the middle of the field, and we're going to find a wide but naked open Leon Thomas. Leon Thomas is going to move the sticks for a huge first down, and hopefully we can do what we need to do in order to make sure that we get some points on the board, as Grayson Heineck is going to hang on and make a tough catch. Nearly picks up the first down for us in the process, but a very manageable 3rd and 1 instead, as we'll go ahead and throw to the right-hand side. We find DeAndre Bozier, but we would have led him a little bit more. Probably could have had a touchdown for DeAndre Bozier, but all good, though. We do have a 2nd and goal opportunity, as we will try to throw for the end zone strike for DeAndre Bozier. Tight window, couldn't squeeze it into his hands, so it is going to fall as an incompletion. So now, here we are with a 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line, and Terrell Sharpen actually cannot punch it in. So it's now going to be 4th and goal from the 1, and listen, we don't have a lot to lose here. Definitely more reward than risk, and Spears is going to cash in on our gamble, finding the end zone, and your Dayton squad is right back into the game. But with that being said, we got to get some stops defensively as well, as we are doing our best to chip away at it, but it only takes 1 score, and realistically, this could be a 2-score game once again. That is certainly in the realm of possibility. I thought this guy went backwards. I thought Kashim Denard actually did end up going backwards, but the refs disagreed, and they did reward him the 1st down anyways, but nothing that we can do about it now. So here we are with a 3rd and inches coming up, as we try to keep Columbus out of the end zone, as they're going to run it up the gut. We do keep them out of the end zone at least. We do at least accomplish that. However, they're still able to pick up the 1st down. So 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. That's always really tough of a defensive stand to make. And we give up a touchdown on the very first play. Columbus is going to pull away a little bit there. And so with that being said, 4th quarter, got to get some points on the board here, but we're going to have it a little bit more difficult, as we cannot even run for a yard as Terrell Sharpen gets hit behind the line of scrimmage. So 4th and 1, possibly the game on the line, and let's see what we're calling. They're expecting a run in this situation, because we usually run on 4th and shorts, but we're going to go ahead and throw for it, and Leon Thomas cannot make the catch. It was thrown in a decent spot, but Leon Thomas, unfortunately, cannot haul it in. And so we end up dropping this one against our divisional opponents. And Columbus is going to be well on its way into possibly winning the division here in year number 3. After Pittsburgh won it the first couple of years. With that being said, it was tough to see our guys drop yet another game. So we drop our 2nd game to Columbus. This is the last time we'll have to play these guys. And just like it was for that first game that we played, in which that was a like a 4:30 special, we played the whole game, it was just hard for us to consistently move the ball. And it was evident by the fact that we had less than 200 yards passing. A quarterback who's usually really good at moving the ball just didn't have it fully today. We were definitely flustered. And that was evident in Andrew Collar's stat line today. 16 for 26, 163 yards. Again, did not have a touchdown, so this might be the first episode in which Andrew Collar doesn't find the end zone at all, and we played multiple games, mind you. He did also throw an interception, which certainly doesn't help. Now, with that being said, we definitely did not have a 100-yard rusher as well. We tried to take advantage of their inability to maybe, or at least their weakness of stopping the run on the right-hand side, but even then, that was not a true given. Terrell Sharpen had less than 4 yards to carry. Joe Spears was able to find the end zone, but for 5 carries, he certainly was not efficient in this game either. As for the receivers, I mean, none of our receivers had 100 yards on the day. Leon Thomas was the closest with 81 yards off of 5 catches. We did try to force feed DeAndre Bazier like during our moments, but Bazier didn't really do himself very much good. Only 5 catches and 44 yards. And once again, he is not going to be able to get that development trade upgrade. Now, defensively, I thought we played fine defensively, right? Like, it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible either. J.J. Peters continues to show out for us. He led the team in tackles. He got a sack today, you know, playing some good ball here as a first-round rookie. Peter Townsend played some good football as well. He had 8 total tackles in this ball game. Outside of J.J. Peters, though, nobody else was able to get a sack, so not a very good job able to generate pressure like we did in the first game. But Paul Pigeons at least get an interception, and we're able to capture that interception in gameplay, so that was pretty cool to see. Alright, so with that being said, we are now at about the halfway point of the season. I wanted to do a quick check on what the standings are looking like. Obviously, Columbus is in the lead in our division with a 6-2 record, and then we're sitting in last place right now with a 2-6 record ourselves. But seeing these last couple of games play out, I think we are better than what our record suggests. I just think we have to put together a full and complete game. And I will say that us not having star players outside of Andrew Collar definitely hurts our team. I definitely think that's showing on the perimeter. But with that being said, the defense is growing, and we're certainly not the worst defense in the league. We're actually not even the worst defense in our division, which, I mean, at least our defense is showing growth, just maybe not as the same rate as our offense is regressing. Checking out the rest of the league, though, Birmingham Stallions do have the lead in the AFC South. They have a 5-3 record, while San Antonio and Houston are trailing far behind. However, the Orlando Guardians, who we did lose the Orlando Guardians, which I don't know how we pulled that off, but it is what it is. But the Orlando Guardians have the inside track for the #1 overall pick. As for the AFC East, the Albany Imperials currently have the lead. They have a 5-3 overall record, but a tight group here at the top of the AFC East, though. Both the DC Defenders and the Boston Mariners are a half game behind with that 5-4 record. Memphis is all by themselves, sitting at 2-7 at the moment. Then the last division within our conference is the AFC West, and the St. Louis Battlehawks continue to be a shining example within the UFL from a culture standpoint. The St. Louis Battlehawks are now 6-2, while the San Diego Fleet are significantly better than what we saw in year number 1. They are actually above 500 halfway through the year. As for the NFC, the Louisville Thoroughbreds have the lead in the NFC North, but they are the only team in the division that has a positive record. Chicago, Minnesota, and the Michigan Panthers, they're all sitting below 500. In the NFC South, New Orleans is currently in the lead as of this moment, but the Atlanta Legends and the Tampa Bay Bandits are not too far behind. And then even the Arlington Renegades is an interesting team as well. They're only about a game and a half back from the division lead. So this is definitely an interesting division to watch here in the second half of the season. As for the NFC East, the Charleston Dirty Birds currently have the best record in the league with a 7-2 record. Although the Charlotte Knights, in spite of losing some talent to the NFL over the last couple of seasons, the Charlotte Knights have been playing some good ball. They're 6-2 now going into the second half of the season. Even the Philadelphia Stars and the New Jersey Generals, both of those teams have showed improvement. They're at 500 too. For the NFC West, the Arizona Hotshots are also tied with a 7-2 record as they're currently on top of the NFC West. Although the LA Wildcats, who had the first overall pick back in the year 1 offseason, they are now looking like a much better football team, sitting at 5-3 here. Seattle is 5-4, and then the Eugene Chiefs, who made that run to the championship, UFL championship last year, they have fallen off a cliff. They're 2-6. Alright, so here we are about halfway through the season, and I was hoping to get some clarity in terms of whether we're a playoff team or whether we need to embrace a full-on rebuild. And I don't think we have a clear answer, but what I do want to say is that we are going to continue to compete every single week, and whatever ends up happening is going to end up happening at the end of the day. So, hey, with that being said, guys, appreciate y'all so much for enjoying this video, man. Nice little doubleheader. We are going to have a full game in the next episode, as we are going to be featured on Thursday Night Football. We will be taking on the Salt Lake City Condors, who are sitting at a similar record than we are, so this could be a decent measuring stick game. So excited to see what we can do, man. But appreciate y'all coming through and enjoying the video, and if you enjoyed this, then you should go ahead and do a few things for me. Hit that like button, as it will get this Madden gameplay out to more Madden 25 folks like yourselves. And then in addition to that, hit that subscribe button as well if you do have to be brand new to the channel. This is John J Gaming on the mic signing off, but hope you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.